Every morning, before he touches a single bill, before he opens his wallet, before he makes one financial decision, the Jewish millionaire performs a ritual with salt, not because of superstition, not because of habit, because of a principle so ancient, so precise, and so consistently effective that it has quietly powered the financial resilience of Jewish families through every persecution, every exile, every economic collapse in 3,000 years of history. And tonight, Rabbi is going to teach it to you completely, every step, every element, every word, because this knowledge was never meant to stay hidden. It was meant to reach people who are ready for it. And if you are still watching, you are ready. My name is Rabbi, and I have spent nearly 5 decades studying the ancient texts of the Talmud and Kabbalah. My grandfather was a respected scholar in Jerusalem. His father before him carried these same teachings in Poland before the war. This wisdom has lived in my family for 8 generations. What Rabbi is about to share with you is not theory. It is not inspiration designed to make you feel good for a few hours before everything goes back to the way it was. It is a practical, specific, actionable method that Rabbi has used to transform his own financial reality and has personally taught to thousands of people across 4 continents. And it works regardless of your religion, your background, your education level, or where you are starting from today. Before we go further, Rabbi wants you to do one thing right now. Type in the comments the words, "My wealth is activated." Not "my wealth will be activated." Not "I hope my wealth will be activated." My wealth is activated. Present tense. Declared with conviction. Because in the Kabbalistic tradition, a spoken declaration is not wishful thinking. It is the beginning of a spiritual process. You are not describing a reality that exists yet. You are participating in the creation of one. Type it now and mean every word. Rabbi wants to be honest with you about something. He knows exactly what your mornings feel like right now because he has sat across from thousands of people carrying the same weight, and he has heard the same story enough times to know it by heart. You wake up and before your feet touch the floor, you are already calculating. Bills, obligations, debts, the gap between what comes in and what needs to go out. You work hard, probably harder than most of the people around you. You do what you are told to do. You save when you can. You cut when you can cut. But no matter what you try, the situation never truly shifts. Some months slightly better, some months slightly worse. But never free. Never the kind of easy, flowing relationship with money that you watch other people seem to have without any apparent effort. And everyone has advice. The brother-in-law wants you in crypto. The coworker swears by the side hustle. The guru on the internet will sell you the passive income course if you act now. Just work harder. Just think positive. Just visualize abundance and believe. None of it works. And here is why. All of it addresses only the physical level of reality, how much you earn, how much you save, what your credit score is, what your investment portfolio looks like. And the fundamental spiritual law that governs abundance is being completely ignored. The Talmud is direct on this point. Parnasa, livelihood and sustenance, comes from heaven. What this means practically is that the flow of abundance in your life is governed first at the spiritual level and only then expressed at the physical level. The physical is the effect. The spiritual is the cause. And if you only ever work at the level of effects while ignoring causes, you will work very hard for very little change. This is not a new idea. The Jewish people understood it thousands of years ago. And it is precisely this understanding, this ability to operate at the level of causes rather than effects, that allowed Jewish families to rebuild their wealth in every country they were scattered to, often from nothing, often under conditions of active persecution, not because of superior intelligence, not because of harder work alone, because of a knowledge of spiritual law that most of the world has never accessed. Tonight, Rabbi is giving you that access. If you are finding real value in what you are hearing right now, please hit the like button. It costs you nothing, and it tells Rabbi that this wisdom is reaching you the way it is meant to. And subscribe to this channel, because every week Rabbi releases new teachings from the Torah and the Kabbalistic tradition, ancient wisdom for prosperity, protection, relationships, and the real challenges of modern life. Share this tonight with someone who has been working hard without breaking through. Because what Rabbi is about to teach may be exactly the piece they have been missing for years. Let us go to the foundation. Let us talk about what salt actually is and why the ancient rabbis considered it one of the most spiritually potent substances in all of creation. The Kabbalah teaches that salt preserves, purifies, attracts, and seals, all four of those functions simultaneously. This is why salt was present in every offering brought to the temple in Jerusalem, not as seasoning, as spiritual technology. The Torah states explicitly, "You shall season your every meal offering with salt," and the Talmud tells us that salt was present at creation itself and will endure until the final redemption. It is, in the deepest Kabbalistic sense, eternal, a substance that bridges the physical world and the spiritual world. When Rabbi first studied this with his grandfather, he understood the words, but not yet the full implication. It took years of practice, years of watching the results in his own life and in the lives of those he taught, before he fully grasped what the ancient rabbis had discovered. Salt is not a symbol of purity. It is an instrument of purity. There is a profound difference. A symbol points toward something. An instrument produces something. When you engage salt with correct intention, at the right time, with the right elements and the right words, you are not performing a ceremony. You are activating a mechanism that has been refined over 3,000 years. Rabbi will tell you something personal. When he was 23 years old, freshly finished with his rabbinical studies and completely broke, he tried everything the modern world offered. Jobs that never called back, a small business that failed in 3 months, family members asked for help that he found genuinely humiliating. Nothing moved. Then he remembered what his grandfather had taught him when he was 19, 3 days after Yom Kippur, sitting in a study that smelled of old books and candlelight. His grandfather had looked at him with those eyes that seemed to see all the way through and said, "Rabbi, we do not work for money. We make money work for us." And it all begins with understanding what money truly is. Rabbi followed the method exactly. He gathered the elements, he performed the ritual at the precise time, he spoke the words with complete conviction. Within 48 hours, he received an unexpected check from an old insurance policy he had entirely forgotten. 3 days after that, a man he had met briefly at a wedding called to offer him a teaching position at a prestigious yeshiva. Within 1 month, his entire financial reality had transformed. That was when he knew with absolute certainty that this was not philosophy, this was power. Real, tangible, measurable spiritual power made manifest in physical reality. Now, Rabbi is going to teach you the exact method. But before he gives you the steps, he needs you to understand something. This is not a game. This is not an experiment. These are real spiritual laws producing real effects. If you follow every step, you will see results. If you modify the steps, skip elements that seem inconvenient, or approach this casually, you will see nothing. The method works because every element has a specific function. Remove one element, and the mechanism is incomplete. Approach it with divided attention, and the intention required to activate it is absent. Rabbi is asking you to follow it exactly. Here is what you will need. The first element is sea salt, not table salt, sea salt. This distinction matters enormously, and here is why. In Kabbalah, the ocean represents the endless flow of divine blessing. The sea has no perceivable beginning and no perceivable end. It moves constantly, flows constantly, renews itself constantly. It is the physical representation of infinite abundance. Table salt has been processed and stripped of this spiritual signature. Sea salt retains it. When you use sea salt in this ritual, you are accessing the energy of endless, self-renewing abundance. Pink Himalayan salt will work. Mediterranean sea salt or Dead Sea salt is ideal if you can find it. You need approximately 1 tablespoon of coarse sea salt. The second element is pure water, spring water or filtered water if possible. In Jewish tradition, water represents the flow of divine wisdom and blessing. The Hebrew word for water is mayim, and the letter mem that appears twice within it represents the revealed and the hidden aspects of divine blessing simultaneously. Water carries intention. This is not only mystical teaching, it is increasingly confirmed by scientific research. The water you use will carry your focused intention into the salt and create the activated mixture that is the heart of this practice. Use a glass or ceramic bowl, approximately half a cup of water. The third element is your wallet, your primary wallet, the one you carry daily, the one your money passes through most frequently. Your wallet is not merely a container, it is a vessel that holds the accumulated energy of every financial transaction in your life. Every bill, every coin, every card inside it carries energetic information about your relationship with money. By involving your wallet in this ritual, you are addressing and transforming that relationship at its most direct and intimate level. If you primarily use digital payments, still use a physical wallet. Place even a single bill inside it. The physical vessel matters. The fourth element is your own hands, both hands washed 3 times before you begin, alternating right then left. In Kabbalah, the right hand represents chesed, loving kindness, and the energy of giving and receiving. The left hand represents gevura, strength and boundaries. Your hands are the physical instruments through which you interact with the material world. They are the channels through which money literally passes. Preparing them correctly is not ceremonial, it is functional. The fifth element is the light of sunrise. The moment when darkness becomes light is one of the most spiritually powerful points in the entire 24-hour cycle. In Hebrew, it is called Netz Hakama, the emergence of the sun. It represents renewal, the triumph of light, the activation of divine mercy for a new day. Check the exact sunrise time for your location the night before so you are fully prepared. Now here are the exact steps. The night before you perform this ritual, place 1 tablespoon of sea salt into your glass or ceramic bowl. Set it somewhere safe and undisturbed. As you place the salt, say aloud with complete conviction, "This salt carries the blessing of preservation and purification. It will attract abundance and repel all lack." Then leave it overnight. In Kabbalah, the night represents the hidden feminine aspect of divine blessing, the concealed source from which all abundance ultimately flows. The salt absorbs this energy through the night in preparation for what comes at dawn. Wake before sunrise. Wash your hands 3 times, alternating right and left, and dry them completely. Sit or stand comfortably, facing east toward where the sun will rise, if this is possible. Take your bowl of salt in both hands. Hold it at the level of your heart. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. With each exhale, consciously release whatever fear, anxiety, or doubt about money you are carrying. Do not suppress it. Release it. There is a difference. You are not pretending the fear does not exist. You are choosing not to bring it with you into what comes next. Now slowly pour the water into the bowl using your right hand while your left hand supports the bowl beneath. As the water meets the salt, say aloud, "As this water and salt unite, so does abundance unite with my life. As this salt preserves and purifies, so is my wealth preserved and purified. As the sun rises, so does my prosperity rise." Speak these words as truth, not as a wish. Feel them in your chest as you speak them. Stir the mixture with your right index finger clockwise 7 times. In Jewish tradition, 7 is the number of completion, of a full cycle brought to its natural fulfillment. As you stir, allow yourself to see clearly the financial life you are building. See bills paid with ease. See money moving toward you from directions you did not anticipate. See yourself genuinely free from the anxiety that has been your morning companion for too long. Now place both hands into the salt water. Let them rest there for at least 30 seconds. Feel the salt and water activating your hands, the instruments through which you give and receive in the physical world. Without fully drying your hands, take your wallet and hold it between your palms. The moisture from the salt water transfers to the surface of the wallet. As you hold it, say aloud, "This vessel attracts abundance. This vessel overflows with blessing. Money flows to me easily and constantly. I am aligned with the universal laws of prosperity." Place your wallet in direct sunlight as close to the exact moment of sunrise as possible, a windowsill where the first morning light will touch it. Leave it there for a minimum of 10 minutes as the sun rises. While it rests in the light, take the remaining salt water and pour it onto the earth outside if possible, giving genuine thanks for the blessing you have set in motion. If you cannot go outside, pour it down the drain with the same gratitude and the same intention. The action of releasing it matters as much as the action of preparing it. Now let us talk about what you can expect. Within the first 24 hours, most people notice a quality of mental shift that is difficult to describe precisely, a lightness, a different relationship to thoughts about money, less grip, less dread. Some experience unusually vivid dreams. Pay attention to what comes. Within 3 to 7 days, you should begin to see tangible movement, an unexpected refund, a check that had been forgotten, an opportunity that arrives through a channel you were not anticipating, a debt situation that suddenly becomes easier to resolve. Pay close attention during this window. The universe moves through ordinary channels. A phone call from someone you had not heard from in months, an invitation that arrives at an unexpected moment, a stranger who says something that opens a door. Watch for all of it. Within 30 days, if the ritual has been performed correctly and your intention has been maintained, your financial situation should show undeniable improvement, not always in the form you expected, often in a form more aligned with what you actually need than what you thought you wanted. Rabbi needs to give you 3 serious warnings before you begin. The first warning is the most important. Do not perform this ritual while you are holding hatred, jealousy, or ill will toward anyone. The Talmud is absolutely unambiguous on this point. Prosperity built on negative spiritual intention does not become abundance. It becomes a different kind of burden. Rabbi learned this in the early years of his teaching when he tried to help a man who came desperate for financial relief but was consumed entirely with bitterness towards someone who had wronged him. The ritual did not help him. It made things worse until the day he genuinely chose forgiveness. Then everything shifted. Clear your heart first, then proceed. The second warning is to keep this practice private for at least 7 days after you first perform it. When you plant a seed, you do not dig it up every morning to check whether it is sprouting. You give it time and dark and quiet in which to take root. The energy you have set in motion needs that same protection in its earliest days. Skepticism from others carries its own energetic weight. Shield this practice from it while it is still finding its roots. The third warning is perhaps the most practically critical. This is not a one-time act. It is a practice. The most transformative results come from performing this ritual consistently, ideally once a week on the same day for a minimum of 40 days without interruption. 40 days is not arbitrary. In Jewish mystical tradition, 40 is the number of complete transformation. 40 days is the time required for a genuine and lasting spiritual shift to anchor itself fully in physical reality. One performance will open a door. 40 consistent performances will build the home. Rabbi will share something personal here because he believes it is important. There came a period in his 50s when he became so occupied with teaching this wisdom to others that he quietly stopped practicing it himself. He told himself he had internalized it, that he was past the need for the daily rituals. His grandfather had warned him about exactly this. Within 2 years, his own financial life had noticeably contracted. More stress, less margin, less flow. Nothing catastrophic, but unmistakably diminished. He returned to the practice with the full humility that only that kind of lesson can produce. Within months, everything reversed. That experience taught him permanently that these practices are not training wheels for beginners. The greatest teachers practice them until their final breath. Knowing is not enough. You must do. The Talmud teaches that before money appears in your physical reality, it exists as spiritual potential. Before an opportunity reaches you, it exists as spiritual possibility. The physical realm is not the origin of abundance, it is the destination. Abundance originates at the level of spiritual law and ascends into physical expression. When you work only at the physical level, you are working with the shadow of a cause, not the cause itself. This ritual places you at the level of causes. That is why the results can seem astonishing to someone encountering this for the first time. It is not magic, it is alignment. And alignment, once established, produces results with a consistency that the physical-only approach will never match. Type in the comments right now, "I am aligned with the laws of prosperity." Say it out loud, because the declaration you make as you begin a practice carries a kavanah, the focused intention that determines how deeply the practice will work. Subscribe to this channel. Share this teaching with one person tonight who has been trying everything and still feels stuck. Because the reason nothing has worked for them may be exactly this. They have been working entirely at the level of effects while the causes remain unaddressed. This teaching addresses the causes. And next week, Rabbi will be revealing the specific Kabbalistic protection placed around money in the home that most families have abandoned without realizing it, and what that abandonment has quietly cost them. Until then, prepare your salt, prepare your water, prepare your hands, prepare your intention. The sun will rise tomorrow morning exactly as it has risen every morning since creation. What you do in the minutes before and during that rising is entirely in your hands. May your vessel be ready, may the blessing find you, and may abundance in every form it takes follow you in everything you do. Amen.